Hands up if you love a great Aldi bargain. I found this beauty in the middle aisle just the other day, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, that is a Cricut project waiting to happen. So obviously I bought it, but I had forgotten one really important thing, which is if you're going to be buying something from the middle aisle, you have to always check the box before you bring it home. So when I got home, I was really sad to discover that one of the 3 jars in here doesn't have the matching lid. I did go back, but they were unfortunately sold out, so I have not been able to get hold of that other lid. But all 3 of them only cost me $3.99, so I'm not too upset about it. I'm just going to consider them as 2 different items. One is just going to be a plain vase, and the other 2 are the nice apothecary jars. Apothecary jars. So they're just made of like a clear plastic, which is fine, because if it was glass, then it'd be annoyingly delicate, I think. So you can see one is missing a lid, and they're so cute, adorable. I recently added some new shelving in my son's bedroom, so I am imagining using these ones with the lids there somewhere. But we're going to think about those another time. Today I'm going to share with you how I'm going to decorate this one, which does not have a lid. And I'm thinking that I want to use it on one of the side tables in the living room for storing all of our remote controls. For some reason, suddenly we've gone from having just one small one to 3 or 4 quite large ones. So I need a bigger pot, and obviously it has to be a beautiful looking pot if it's going to be on display in the living room. If you are a regular subscriber, and by the way, if you're not, why not hit subscribe? You will have seen that last week I shared a project on making a bookmark using faux leather. So when I was thinking about how to decorate this vase, I thought of a really cool idea of actually wrapping the vase in faux leather. And I went down this whole rabbit hole of how would I attach it to the vase, and I was thinking to use those kind of no-sew snap buttons, because, confession, I cannot sew and I really am not about to learn. So I wanted to find a solution that was either going to be glue or just something that didn't require me to learn how to sew buttons. But one of my current resolutions is that I want to work more with the stuff that I already have in this craft room that is just stuffed full of things. And in order to do the version of this project that requires the buttons, I would have to buy these things called Vario pliers, which like punch holes into your material, and then the actual buttons that like you would use to snap both ends together. And I just decided, as much as I love that idea, I have to be strict with myself, and I'm not going to demonstrate that. But now you have it as an idea if you want to go ahead with it. All you would do is take your piece of faux leather, and you probably don't even need the Cricut machine for this bit. You just measure around your vase. You need to leave a bit of excess. And the bit that is sticking around the vase that's excess here, you would put your snap buttons along this edge here. And that would look super, super cool. I also would do it so that you've got half of the vase exposed, because that, oh my gosh, like it just looks so stylish. However, I have decided not to buy more things for now, so I won't be demonstrating that. I'm instead going to try and attach the vase using some kind of glue. I'm actually thinking double-sided tape will work, and because, you know, I'm going to be putting things in the vase, I'm not that fussed that you might be able to see the glue through the inside of the vase, because no one's going to notice that anyway. Also, the vase that doesn't have a lid is quite a large one, and the piece of the faux leather that I already have, and remember, I'm not buying new things, does not fit all the way around my vase. So the snap button idea was never going to work anyway. So what I've decided is I am going to attach the leather, and I'm going to cut it so that it is actually the full height of the vase. And then to make it look deliberate that it doesn't wrap all the way around, I'm gonna go exactly halfway around. And just because I have a Cricut machine and I like being a bit extra, and I love, you know, gold details on things, I'm planning on cutting some nice iron-on pattern to put onto the leather. And I have an idea for how I will make the half of the vase that doesn't have leather on it kind of look like it is all actually part of the same design. So let me show you in Design Space the pattern that I'm planning on using. I've already got some gold iron-on that I can use, And for this one, I'm going to be using my Cricut Press Mini just because I think having the Mini will allow me to have more control when I am doing the press on the faux leather. I don't want to burn it using one of my larger easy presses. And I'm going to show you how I designed it and made it, and I did have a few hiccups along the way, so I'm going to share those with you too. One of the things that went wrong when I was making the project is that my idea was to have exactly half of the vase covered in leather with an iron-on the leather, and then to have the same pattern in adhesive vinyl across the rest of the exposed plastic part of the vase. However, when I actually made the thing, it didn't fit completely around the circumference, so I must have measured it incorrectly. And it's probably because I was being too lazy to go and find a measuring tape. I instead just put some ribbon around the vase and then measured the length of the ribbon. So maybe that's where I went wrong. You guys use a measuring tape. My initial idea was to have this really beautiful pattern on the leather part of the vase, and this actually worked out fine. I used an iron-on vinyl and I applied it with my Easy Press Mini. I've never done this combination of materials before, but it was super easy. I just made sure, one, to keep the Easy Press Mini on the lowest heat setting. I just kept moving the Easy Press around as I was doing the transfer, and then I did that across the whole length of the design. Then I waited for like a minute and I did it again just to make sure. But I probably didn't have to do the second run because actually it had adhered very nicely. For cutting the actual leather, I didn't use the Cricut machine. I just measured it with a ruler and cut with a craft knife. My concept for the then clear part of the vase was to do something that was meant to be maybe sort of like an inverse of what you saw on the leather side, which is why I've added this interior part of the design. And I created this just by using the offset tool, dragging it to be below this bar here to make it a smaller shape on the inside. I guess I was thinking along the lines of sort of a yin and a yang in terms of design. There'd be the part on the leather that was lighter, and then on the plastic exposed part, the design would be a bit heavier, and they'd balance each other out. The problem that I had is when I was applying my adhesive vinyl to my vase, I somehow managed to misalign it and I just lost all the middle. What I really wanted us to make sure is that on one side, at the join between the leather and the acrylic, that the pattern continued seamlessly. So that is what I have managed to achieve. However, if you look on the other side, then you can see there is a gap, and this is where I've had some issue with measuring the design. But you know, if I just place it facing the other way, with stuff in this jar, you're never gonna see that there's a bit of an error. And another thing that I learnt is I tried a few different adhesives to see which would work best on the plastic and the leatherette, and definitely it is the spray adhesive. I bought these so many years ago, and then I didn't enjoy using them, so I haven't actually touched them. But I looked up how to attach plastic and leather, and spray adhesive is one that came up. I did also test my Barely Arts craft glue, but that didn't work at all, so don't even bother trying. One thing I have learnt is I sprayed it directly onto my leather and it came out quite clumpy and gloopy. I used my paintbrush to spread it over the leather before I attached it to the vase. And what I've seen is that in a couple of places I've got some lumps on my finished design, which if I look through the back I can see it's because there's clumps of glue. So make sure you do spread the glue out nicely. Also, don't use one of your nicer brushes because the one that I use is now completely congealed together with the glue, the spray adhesive. So I need to figure out how I can rescue this. Hopefully I can dissolve it in something. So just use something rough that you're not bothered about. The good news is I was able to reposition the leather. Once I had placed it down on my vase, I kind of wasn't happy with the alignment, so I peeled it off and did it again. And that didn't cause any problems. It didn't like immediately stick to the plastic, so that's good. It's kind of got some workable drying time. I really, really do love how this design came out. I think sometimes the test for me is when I'm making something for my home is if I saw this in a shop, would I consider buying it? And I would absolutely be adding these to my basket if I saw them in the shops. I do now need to start planning what I'm gonna do with my other vases that did come with lids. You're just gonna have to subscribe and wait and see what I end up doing with those ones. Let me know if you do try this project. Tag me, I love to see it on Instagram at Rabia Khans. If you're looking for some more craft inspiration, check out this playlist. Otherwise, I will catch you next time. Until then, happy crafting.